my question for next year is, and we've discussed this at length, like going into next year, if you were to get like into PGA Tour events, is that something that you're considering like not doing so that you can play more Korn Ferry events? Like we've always talked about how like it's bullshit. You could play in a PGA Tour event and then you miss weeks of like pursuing that status on Korn Ferry where you're not getting any points, and then the guys that you're competing against are getting points. How do you feel about that going into this next year? Do you have a different plan?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of got an idea in my head of getting off to a good start and getting myself in a spot where I do have the option that I can go take a week off and go play in a PGA Tour event. Luckily, the Myrtle thing works out perfectly in the schedule for the Korn Ferry stuff. It's during an off week. But if there's other exemptions during the year, and I feel like I have a hold on things and know that I'm in a good spot for getting my PGA Tour card, I have no issue taking a week off and playing on a big tour. And I feel like it's more money. Yes, it's another chance to gain status out there, but that's where I want to be playing. I want to see how I stack up against them every single time I get a chance to do it.
Yeah, such a hard decision they put you guys in. Like, I don't know, all this shakeups in PGA Tour, Korn Ferry, and all these new rules and CEOs and everything. How are they not figuring out a way that if a guy earns his way into a spot on the PGA Tour and cannot compete on the Korn Ferry Tour, that somehow his performance on the PGA Tour does not allocate any points to his Korn Ferry status? That to me is like I don't know what's going on in the White House and all these other things. What this needs, this is a hot button issue right here. We got to figure this shit out now. That's insane. You're literally playing on the Korn Ferry Tour to get on the PGA Tour. So when you have an event on the PGA Tour, how is that not affecting what you're trying to do on the other? It's like, I want to use some like bad words, right? It's like, this is crazy.
Do it.
This is bad. I'm going to give him the middle finger.
What's the argument against it? What the argument against it would be what? It's like these exemptions are special so that it's not an equal opportunity of like everybody has a chance to get these points.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's the way the world works, though. It's
but
like
it's
he's getting in
just
because of who he
though.
is.
It's like if he goes out and he Monday qualifies into an event, which has nothing to do with an exemption. He like earns a spot into an event and then goes and finishes second. He still doesn't get any points for the Korn Ferry Tour.
Good point. If you earn it, then it really makes no sense.
Yeah, for sure. There's got to be some kind of way, even if it's like a half point system or 3/4 of a point system, depending on where you play in. I do understand the Myrtle one because it's not during a Korn Ferry event, but the ones that if I were to take off and play during a Korn Ferry event, I feel like I should get points or some kind of help there.
It's tough. It's really, really bad. I think it's bullshit because it's really not happening that often. When they do get in, it should be a big moment. It should be nice promotion for the Korn Ferry Tour. It should be all this stuff. Like there should be a storyline around this guy playing. It should not be a negative thing. There should never be a situation in which someone that wants to pursue their dream, that's playing on this tour, that's bringing eyeballs to the tour, should ever have to make the decision to not play in the big league tour event because they want to do so. That to me is so backwards.
It is.
The strength of the field on the PGA Tour is better than the Korn Ferry, right? So there should be some kind of reward for playing well on a PGA Tour event when you're taking that week off to play in a PGA Tour event when there's a Korn Ferry event going on.
Agreed.
And it's not like the Korn Ferry Tour is like the DP World Tour. Like I understand that like the European Tour and the PGA Tour, there used to be plenty of guys, European players, not as much anymore now, but that would play X amount of events on the European Tour because that was actually kind of where they wanted to play. And yes, they would do a certain amount on the PGA Tour, but their home was the European Tour. And they were Ryder Cup guys and they loved promoting the European Tour. And if they played on European Tour for the rest of their life, that was pretty equal with their life goals. They'd play the British Open, whatever. The Korn Ferry Tour only exists for people to try to get to the PGA Tour. That's literally the only reason that it exists. It's not the goal. It's not the dream. That's not, no offense to them, but they know that. That's like you guys are all there trying to get the PGA Tour. So then if you do the thing on the PGA Tour, you don't get credit for it on the Korn Ferry Tour. In fact, you get punished. It's like by playing the Canadian Tour event this year and not on the Korn Ferry Tour that week, if you would have got some points, that could have made the difference in getting the card. Like that's insanity. That's just insanity. Yeah. So I think that's a little bit ridiculous, but